You don't understand, Mom. I'm a high-value man. I don't go to parties. I just stay inside, sitting on my couch, and I make money. I work 10 hours a day. Right now I am just, learning how to do it. Everyone online tells me to don't have fun and just work 16 hours a day and to sleep 2 hours a night because I need to make money. Money is so important and it's the only thing that matters, and if I don't make money, no one will ever love me and I am lonely. Everyone online is saying, yeah, you need to make money. You need to work 12 hours a day. You don't need to have fun. Fun isn't important. You don't need girls. You don't need friends. You just need to make money, because if you got money, you can do everything. If you have money, you can do everything. That's right. What if you don't have friends? Money can't buy that. Money can't buy your girlfriend. A real one. Not some prostitutes. You don't want prostitutes, do you? Maybe you're weird. Maybe you're weird. You want prostitutes, but that won't serve you right. So clearly, money isn't the only thing that you need to pursue in life. Everyone online is telling you to stay home and don't go to parties and don't hang out with friends, because that will distract you from making money. But are you making money? Maybe you're real happy hearing these guys talk about how you don't need to have friends, how you don't need to have fun and go to parties. Maybe you'd feel awkward in the club, okay? And so you're so happy hearing about how you don't need to go there. That's where losers go. And you're just focused on making money, but you're not making money. So you're just inside your house, scrolling, looking at this bullshit content telling you to not have fun and don't enjoy your life because you must stay consistent and focused on making money. But you are not making money. You're not doing anything. You're just alone by yourself like a dickhead, talking shit about whoever's having fun, having real life connections. 4chan isn't real life connections. Neither is Reddit or Discord or whatever bullshit platform you're on. That's not real life. That doesn't exist. Those aren't real connections. Okay, let's say that you're in the mountains. Your house is so far away from a city center. Maybe you're homeschooled. Fair enough. Okay, your only connections outside from your neighbor, your neighbor's daughter, or your neighbor's kids. Okay, fair enough. But most of you live in the city. You have the opportunity to have friends. Maybe you're still in school, but you're just that weird guy who goes to the gym and isn't social at all. He just stays on his phone during, lunch break. That's not productive. You're not the Sigma male, the lone wolf. You're just lonely. Get this idea out of your mind. You're not better than anyone else just because you go to the gym, okay? You're not better than anyone else just because you know that making money is important. Everyone does, okay? Some more, some less. Everyone understands the proper need of money. Without them, you starve to death. That's clear. That's basic, okay? So if you ever find yourself looking at some millionaire, some self-proclaimed millionaire, most of them are, okay, talking about how you don't need to have friends, how you don't need to make real life connections, how you don't need to have fun because you're just going to be a millionaire and then you'll have fun. That's bullshit. That is the most fucked up thing someone can say to you. Someone is literally saying, do not have fun, so waste your life. If someone is giving out advice on how working 12 hours a day is better than living your life, and for living your life, I may be even talking about working some job that fulfills you, that you feel really good doing, okay? That's what I say, that's what I mean by living your life. If someone is telling you to work 12 hours a day, he's a scammer. He's just making you, he's just hyping you up, being a bootlicker, okay? Some scumbag who hates on others because they're going to the club, having fun, having real life fun, you know? Yeah, maybe they're getting drunk. Oh, but I don't drink because that's bad. You eat shit food. Yeah, you go to the gym, but you eat shit food. And you don't have friends. And nobody thinks that you're a funny guy, okay? Nobody enjoys your presence. Matter of fact, you don't hang out really often, do you? What I'm trying to say is, do not think that you're any better from anyone else just because you are on self-improvement. Especially if you think that social connections are weird and for beta males. That's what these scumbags on the internet say. Humans are made to stay in groups, to socialize, okay? You may be an introvert, that's fine, but calling people degens just because they're hanging out and having fun with their friends, you're the weird one, you're cringe. So do not take the way of the lone wolf, of the alpha male, of the sigma, because that is cringe. That is the most cringe way that you can act. And if you are someone who is looking at someone who thinks he's the alpha, he thinks he's the sigma male, the best man around, that is going to embarrass you so much that you don't want that guy to talk. You don't want him to talk because he'll embarrass himself and you'll get embarrassed too because you're with him. You see what I mean? This is the equivalent of when your friend who didn't play a game in elementary school bragged about how good he was at that game. He was just spitting bullshit and everyone knew that he was spitting bullshit, that he didn't even have the game. This is the equivalent, but with adult meaning. You see what I mean here? The kid was bragging about how good he was on a game he didn't even play, so he was lying about that because you get social validation for that. Then your friend who thinks he's the lone wolf, who thinks he's the sigma male, brags about not talking to girls, not having friends because he just works 10 hours a day, which isn't even true. If that was true, he would be making millions. That's cringe. You're not the best man around, okay? So the path that I want you to take on is the one where you use what you study, so you use self-improvement in order to have the most fun out of your life. This enables you to get greater social connections, to be good looking, so to feel good about yourself. And this is really important. If you don't feel good about yourself, you may even have the best friends, you may even got the best friends, best girlfriend, but you see yourself in a car window and suddenly you're not that confident anymore. You're not that funny. You're not that guy that people like to be around. Because if you don't like yourself, everyone is going to have a really, really hard time liking you. You see what I mean here? So what is my advice here? What am I telling you here? I'm telling you to not think bad about people who have more fun than you, who seem to have more fun than you, because maybe they are not, okay? Maybe some guys that go to the club, that have lots of friends, maybe they are degenerates, okay? Maybe they are, but not shit on everyone just because they're going to the club or because you're not having the same fun as they are having, okay? You're just a little bit jealous of that, and you cope saying, I don't need that. I don't need social connections. I don't need friends. I don't need a girlfriend, okay? The reality is that you need friends. You need social connections, but you are not able to form them. So you cope saying that you're the sigma male, the alpha male. And the content that you consume proves your point. So you're so fulfilled. Yeah, I don't need that. He's right. I need to work 12 hours a day, which you are not, by the way. And then you're lonely. And then at 9 p.m., when you're gonna go to bed, you think, man, I would really love to hang out this Saturday night. Are you going to hang out by yourself? You're not. So, to recap all of this, do not, for every reason, do not shame people who go to the club. Do not, this is important, do not consume the content of people who tell you not to have fun. Okay? Yes, sacrifices must be made, but you can't live as a sad scumbag who shames people for having fun. Because you'll just be an ungrateful piece of shit, a jealous prick who just tears everyone down. You're just going to be a crab. No one is going to really want to hang out with you. That's what's bad about these influencers who tell you that you don't need anyone. You need social connections. You're not the Sigma male. You're not Christian Bale, okay? You're not a psychopath. So, don't be a dickhead. That's the most basic rule that you can apply to everything in life. Okay? Yeah, this is it. Don't watch Sigma male motivation videos because they're just glorifying, how is it called? Patrick Bateman, a serial killer. Those are cringe, okay? So don't expect your life to be work, sleep, go to the gym, repeat. It's cringe, okay? So be yourself. So do not listen to people who tell you to suppress your desire for love and social connections, because you need that, okay? And do not tear anyone down because they're having fun. You need fun in your life. Yeah, this is it. Bye bye.